Hello. So good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible, sir?
के इधर भी आ जाएगी अगर
Yes, sir.
हाँ दोनों तरफ लगा कि इमरजेंसी में किसी का लैपटॉप है कुछ है
Good afternoon, all of you. Sir, shall we start, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So in this session, right, I will be discussing about the concepts related to Python again. Okay. So here we are concerned with three main important topics that we require in order to go ahead in our Django framework. Okay. So it is very important, right, to understand how to write programs in Python. Okay. So basically, the core concepts in Python are to be cleared before we go any further in the application development. Yeah. So yesterday I have given basic simple definitions of all the basic data types, operators that we use in the Python, and also the concepts related to list, tuples, then set and dictionary. Okay, so all those basics were discussed. Right, today we will be discussing about the concepts related to functions, then classes, okay, and objects and inheritance property, and we'll, if time permits, we'll discuss the basic important libraries that we require, okay, in order to do the application development. Okay, so yeah, so yesterday I have at the end of the yesterday I have given you a problem to solve. Okay, so I know how many I don't know how many of you have solved it, but so let me just start with that. Okay, so the concept that we are right, we want to design a dice game. Okay, so this is a dice game, let's say. So using simple, okay, it's a very simple and basic uh, game, okay, you could say, right? We have a dice game. So this dice game will take two inputs. Okay, so one from the user one, okay, our user, and let's say another from the computer. Okay, and the basic thing is, so if the user enters a number higher than computer, he wins, otherwise he loses the game. Okay, and if they are same, we say that the game is tied, and right, okay, you ask the user to again roll the dice. Okay, so this is what the simple setup of the game is. So we will see how to code, how to write this in the Python. Okay, so simple coding in Python, and then we'll continue with the other discussions. So if you have done this, right, you can just cross verify. Okay, if you have not done it, you can try it as now itself. Okay, along this. Yeah, so what is that we need to do? Okay, let's simply understand. So let me open my PyCharm. Okay, PyCharm is getting open. Yes. So yes. Okay. So again, we need another. Okay. So I'm taking a new project. So let's go to new project. So let's say the project name is dice game. You can give anything. I'm just giving it as a dice game. Okay. So everything remains the same. So let's just click this window. Okay. Now it is creating the virtual environment for us. Okay, so this is the default right layout. So we have got these things. Now what we need to do, we need to write our program. So for that, so here we can add the file, or directly you can right click on this. So you can say add, or you can go to file and take a new, new. So on that, okay, it will ask whether you want to take a new file or anything. So we know that we want a Python file. So I'll directly click Python. Okay. So then give the name of the file. So again, I'll say dice game project. Okay. So just in case, right? And then enter. Okay. So it will create my default. Okay. So basic empty file. Okay. Yeah. So this is what our where we have to write the coding. Okay, this is how we can create a new file in PyCharm. Okay, and start writing. Okay, yeah. So if you select other than any Python file, let's say if you are selecting a new file, in that case you have to save it with the .py extension so that it treats as a Python file. Okay, otherwise you can directly take a new file. Yeah. So now, so in our setup we have two inputs. Okay. So there are two inputs that are required. One input is to be taken from the user, okay, and other input has to be generated randomly, which we call it as the computer input. Okay, so yeah, first let us take the user input. Okay, so let us read the user input. So I'm calling this as user. Okay, input is equal to user input is equal to, so user input is equal to, so we use this command called as input, right, method input function. So input, okay, so the user has to enter, right? So what's the user has to enter? So we'll ask, okay, the user, right, so to enter a value, any value between 1 to 6. So enter any value, between, okay, 1 to 6. This is what the prompt. Okay, so this is what will appear to the user when we run this command. Okay, yeah. So next thing is, as I told you yesterday, right? Yesterday I told you one very simple thing. So whenever something is written in terms of double quotes, okay, so here the default database or the default data type that this considers is a string data type. Okay, so it assumes that this value is a string value. So we want to convert this string value into a integer value. Okay, so for that, so I will write user input, user input is equal to, okay, so I want to typecast, okay, the data type. So I'm just saying user input of user input. Okay, so we can write like this. Okay, otherwise, we can also instead of writing these two lines, okay, we can directly write it in a single line as well. So what is that? So yeah, I'm just showing you all the different types, okay, methods. So what is the other way is we can directly put here input, okay, right? So like this. So we can combine both the statements into one statement, one single statement. So the user will enter some value between 1 to 6, okay, and that value, right, is actually okay. Yeah, sorry, it is not. It's written as in not okay. So it's okay. So that value is right. Any value from 1 to 6, it will be stored in user input, and that value is of integer type. Okay, so this is what we have written. Okay, right. Next, next thing is, so we need an array, right? So for the possible right generators. Okay, so so we need to generate. Okay, the second input is the computer input. Okay, which is to be generated randomly, right? So for random generation, we need to give, right? We need to give. Okay, you can generate a random numbers in a different ways. Okay, but we want the random numbers to be specific, right? So we want only from 1 to 6. Okay, so therefore for that what we use is, so you take a variable called as possible options. So I'm creating a list. Possible options is equal to, so a list. Okay, so what are the possible options that we have? Okay, so I'm writing 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4 comma 5 comma 6. Okay, so why should I use this? Means without using this, right, random function will generate, okay, any value which is of float type, 0.5, 0.6, 1.5, like this. Okay, so but we don't want all those. We want only, right, integers between 1 to 6. Okay, so that is the reason why we are generating the random numbers from a list. Okay, so the list is 1 2 3 4 5 6. So from this list I'm going to generate the right random numbers. So now therefore computer input is equal to, so computer input is equal to, so I want, right, any value to be chosen between, right, 1 to 6. So for that I am going to use random. Okay, random, right, random is a package, right? So wherein there are right methods. So we use random dot choice. Okay, so random dot choice of, so from where it has to choose, it has to choose from possible options. Okay, so this is what it is. Okay, but here we can see that random is highlighted in red. Okay, there is an underlying red under at random. So why is this? Because random is a package, right? Okay, so we are using it, but we have not imported it. Okay, so let's import that first. So any package can be imported into the project with the help of import command. Import random. Okay, so you want random. Okay, so import random. Now the error automatically is removed. Okay, right now. So we have taken the user input. Okay, user input will be taken from the user. He will enter the value, and then we will right, the computer input will be generated randomly with the help of, right, random function, random choice function. Okay, right. Next is, so here we have to compare. Okay, what is the comparison we have to do? So first of all, if, right, if I'll check, okay, I have three cases. Okay, so first I will use individual ifs, then we'll see how to use elif and all. Okay, so first what I do is I will check computer input is equal to user input. Okay, let's say computer input is equal to user input. If that is the case, right, so here I'm writing the condition in braces. Okay, closed parenthesis, but it's not required. You can directly give also, no issues. I'm using the conditional operator equal to. So if computer input is equal to user input, what I have to print? I have to print that the game is, or the match is tied. Okay, the match is tied. Okay, or the game is tied. You can write whatever you want. So I'm taking it as the game is tied. Okay. So and I'll use a new line. Okay, a new line, and I'll print. Okay. Again, I'll print. What is that I want to print? I want to print. Okay. So roll the dice again. Okay. So this is what I want. Okay. Right. Next. So see here. So this if statement is done. So we have to come out of it. So coming out of it means going right one step back. Indentation, very important. As I told you, indentation is very important in Python. Okay. Now we can write if. Okay. Right. What I want to write is computer input. Okay. Greater than right user input. Okay. So if computer input is greater than user input, right, in that case, what I have to write, I have to say that, one second, sorry. Yeah, what I have to say, okay, I have to print. Okay. So you lost the match. You lost the game. Okay. And I want to print better luck next time. Yes. So this is what, right? Okay. Done. Okay. Next again. So I'm using 3 if statements. Okay. I don't need to use all this. Okay. We can use elif or else blocks as well. But because I don't want to complicate, I'm writing. Okay. So I'm showing all the ways. Okay. Yeah. If, right. So computer input, okay, is less than user input. Okay. Then you will print. Yeah. If we print, okay, what is that we want to print? You won the game. Okay, right? So and I want to say congrats. Okay, yeah. So this is the simple right program which will take 2 inputs, right? One is the user input, other is the computer input, and right, we'll compare, okay, both inputs. If they are same, you say game is tied, otherwise. So it's a self-explanatory code. Okay, yeah. So we can go ahead and run this. Let's go ahead and run this. Let's see what we will get. Okay, so yeah, we have run the main file. We have not run this file. So let me run dice game project. Okay, yeah. So we are asked. Okay, the project is running. The program is running. We have to enter any value between 1 to 6. Let's say I'll enter 4. So you won the game. Congrats. Okay. Let's say I'll run this again. Okay. So go over here. Run dice game. So again, it will ask me to enter the value. I'll enter. Let's say this time I'll enter 2. Let's see. You lost the game. Better luck next time. Okay. So here you're taking right the input from user, right, and you're telling him whether you won it or you lose it. Okay. So this is how a simple program is done. Okay. So the same now, right? We can create a web page for this also. Okay. An application can be developed for these kind of things so that we'll get a nice GUI and right and create an interface where the user can right play the game. Okay. So we'll see that later in the later part when we go ahead with time. Okay. So this is how we will work. Okay. Here we don't need to write all the 3 if conditions explicitly. We can use right else part or elif, right? If elif. So we can use it. We can run it different ways. Okay. Now let's say you're here telling you whether right you lost the game or you won the game, but you want to see, let's say you want to see what the computer has chosen. Okay, so that also we can do. Okay, we can print the value of print. Okay, let's say the computer has entered. Okay, so what is that computer has entered? So my computer input. Okay, right. So now when I run this, yeah, sorry, compute. Okay, so computer has entered. Yeah. Yeah, let me run this now. Okay, so you have to choose any value from 1 to 6. I'll say 5. Okay, so computer has entered 6, so you have lost the game, right? So that's how it works. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Okay, so this is all basic right things in the Python. Okay, right. So but as I told you many right, if you want to be good at web application development, the first thing is we need to have a good concept about the Python. Okay, if we have a good concept regarding the Python, then I think okay we are all do well. Okay, right. So one assignment that I would like to give, okay, using in the similar way, okay, in the similar way you can try this. So this I think is a very famous example. So it's called rock paper scissor. Okay, I think many of you might know about this right game, rock paper scissors. Okay, so you can create right it's an assignment for you. So create right a Python project, okay, game, where right you take again in the same way. Okay, there are 3 possible inputs here. So user input, user will enter one value between R, P and S. Okay, rock paper and scissor. Okay, and similarly computer will also choose one value between RPS. Okay, RPS. Now if both inputs are same, then the game is tied. Okay, so game is tied if both inputs are same. Okay, if right, let's say user and computer. Okay, so if same inputs are chosen, same inputs, then the game is tied. Okay, game is tied. Now if let's say user chooses rock, okay, user chooses rock, okay, right, then computer can choose, right, if it chooses rock, we'll have the first case, right? Now other than this, if it chooses paper, okay, so a rock, right, a rock, okay, cannot destroy a paper, is it right? Okay, so we are talking about a simple rock. So even if you put a rock on a paper, it doesn't right do any damage to the paper. Okay, so the paper will survive. So therefore we say that in this case the paper is the winner. Okay, so paper wins. Okay, or paper is the winner. Okay, similarly, okay, if the user chooses rock, okay, let's say the computer chooses scissor, okay, scissor, so then you say that, right, okay, because a rock can crush the scissor, right, when you right hit the scissor with a rock, it will get crushed down, right? So therefore you say that right the scissor is the winner. Okay, sorry, rock is the winner. Okay, rock is the winner, right? So this is the second case. Now let's say if the user chooses, right, if the user chooses, okay, paper, in that case if it is rock, okay, so who is the winner? P is the winner. Okay, and if it is scissor, so right a paper can be cut by the scissor, so scissor will be the winner. Okay, right? Similarly, if I have a comparison between scissor and a rock, which I already covered, right? So all the cases are done. Okay, so these are the things that we have to right consider. So between rock and scissor, rock is the winner. Between rock and paper, paper is the winner. Between paper and scissor, scissor is the winner. Okay, so you know these combinations. Okay, using these combinations, build a nice Python program. So to build right a program, okay, to build the game. Okay, so this is an assignment for you. You can practice this. Okay, it will be very easy in the similar way. Okay, which we discussed earlier. Okay, right. Yeah, so any queries in this till now? Okay, so assuming, because all these are basics, so I'm assuming that there are no queries. So let me quickly go on. Okay, so first thing that I would like to cover today is the loops. Okay, so yesterday we have stopped at the control statements. So today we will be discussing about loops. Okay, loop statements. Yeah, so loop, I think all of us know loop. Loop is a function where you want to repeat, right, an activity several number of times. Okay, so you want to execute a particular piece of code several number of times, then you write it or you put it in a loop. Okay, right. So Python also has the structures for supporting the loops. We have two loop structures. Okay, so two loops, right? One is while loop, okay, right, and other is for loop. Okay, for loop, right? Yeah. So while loop, okay, and for loop. While loop is the one that we use for actual looping. Okay, so this is the only statement which is actually or equivalent to the looping for all cases. You can use while with anything. Okay, but for is not right, a looping statement of general case. It is only for specific, right, purposes. Okay, it's not like the other programming languages where for is much better than while. No, that's not the case. Okay, right. Yeah. So first of all, what is the syntax of while? So while okay, loop. So it will start with you need a loop variable. So we have to have a loop variable. So some loop variable will be taken. Let's say I is equal to 6 or I is equal to 1. So you will initialize a loop variable. Okay, then you will have while is the keyword. Okay, then you will check the condition. Okay, so whatever the condition you want to check, and then right, okay, once the condition is true, you have a statements, a block of statements which can be executed, right, if the condition is true, right, and then you will have the increment of the loop variable or increment statements. Okay, so these are all this is the syntax of the while loop. Okay, while loop. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Let's create a while loop. Okay, we'll also see the for loop. Okay, yeah, so for loop, right? Okay, as I said, for loop is actually right, intended for a specific application in Python. So for loop is used for, right, repeating, okay, repeating an execution or repeating a flow of the program running for, with only multiple data structures, multiple data types. That is, okay, they are used with lists or dictionaries, okay, or tuples. Okay, so they are used only with these data items. They cannot be used for general purpose looping. Okay, so they are used only for, right, running or looping through right, data items containing of several values. Okay, so that is with list, tuple, dictionary, set, etc., etc. Okay, so that is the reason why for is limited in its use. It's not general purpose. Okay, right. Now what is the syntax of a for loop will be like this. So as I said, it has to be used with a dictionary. Let's dictionary or a list or anything. So I have to take first a list. So list is equal to some values. Okay, then the syntax will be for, okay, some variable. Okay, so you don't need to explicitly declare the variable as you have done here. Okay, so here we have right, defined a variable before the loop, right? So nothing like that is required. So you just need to give a variable. Okay, variable in, right, in list, so statements. Okay, so this, whatever the statements that are there, this will be executed for each value in the list. Okay, so for example, if I have 4 values in the list, okay, let's say 4, 5, 8, 10. So these are the values that I have. So at first it will take, right, the variable index as 0. Okay, so it will execute these commands for the value of 4, and then for the value of 5, then for the value of 8, and then for the value of 10. That's it. Okay, so right, for statement works like this. Okay, right, so this is how we can use it. Okay, so it is also useful, very much useful for strings. Okay, so a string is also a list, right? We can access or we can print individual elements using this kind of things. Okay, so this is how this works. Okay, so let us just look at one example, right, for this looping structure. Yeah, so I'll remove this. Okay, so first we'll see how to execute the while statement. So I'll take a loop variable. So I is equal to 1. Okay, while, so that's what I write. Then I less than, okay, so I less than 6. So let's say I want to print the numbers of up to 10. Okay, so I less than 10. Okay, then what is that I have to do? I want to just print the value of I. Okay, so print I. Okay, right, just I want to print the value of I, and then next what I have to do, I have to each time, right, whenever I execute it, I have to increment the value of I. So I is equal to I plus is equal to 1. So this implies I is equal to I plus 1. Okay, so that's what it is. Yeah, so simple statement, simple loop. So let us execute this and see what we will get. So you can see, right, in the output we have the values from, right, 1 to 9. So okay, it has executed for 10 times. Okay, and once the value of I becomes equal to 10, it will exit from the loop. Okay, so this is the simple while loop. Okay, let us say, for example, okay, okay, we want to break the loop. Okay, if a certain condition happens. Okay, so let's say if, okay, I want to, right, break, there is a method called as break. Okay, so what is that? So if I is equal to 5. Okay, so let's say actually you have written this program for running 10 times, but okay, for let's say due to the lack of time or due to something, we want to just change the value. Okay, so instead of changing the loop, entire loop, I can just write like this. Okay, yeah. Okay, right, now let's see how it does. Okay, so this is how okay, sorry, we have to write a colon here. Yeah, so what is this doing? This is actually taking the value of I, it is printing, and whenever if I is equal to 5, it will break. Okay, that means it will stop the execution. So let's see what happens here. Yeah, so you could see once the value of I becomes equal to 5, it will break. Okay, so using this break command, we can break the loop. Okay, so if there is any possibility of infinite looping or anything is there, okay, in such cases, to avoid them, we use this break command. Okay, right, so this is the break command. Okay, next we also have one more command that we can use, so that is, right, continue. Okay, so continue. Okay, you can see it is already listed, so we can use it. Yeah, so what does this do? Right, what does this do means, so it will execute from I equal to, right, 1 to, okay, 10 until it becomes 10. So 1 to 9. Okay, so here we have a continuous statement, so it will check if I is equal to 5, then, right, its value is continued. Means what? So I is equal to 5 will not be verified or will not be done. Okay, right, so it will be skipping that value and it will continue to the other value. Okay, so I'll put it here. Okay, let's interchange. Let's see what it does. Yeah, okay, let me run this. Yeah, so okay, so it has taken up to, right, 5. Okay, yeah, so this is how it will work. Okay, so at 5 it is skipping that and it is stopping. Okay, so this is the continue statement, right? It also similar to that of, right, break. Okay, except that you can only skip, you will only skip this particular, right, thing. Okay, yeah. Next, what else do we have? Okay, so let us say if this, right, you want to print something, right, after this condition is gone. Okay, or let's say you don't have anything to print as of now. Okay, so you don't know what you have to do as of now. Okay, but you cannot keep this empty. If I keep this empty, it will throw me an error, right? Okay, so just try to run this. So while loop is empty. Stop and rerun. Yeah. So, okay, it is throwing an error, right? So therefore, okay, we cannot keep this empty. So we need something, okay? So yesterday also I told you, so there is a statement called as pass statement, okay? So this pass statement, okay, will, right, make the execution. So it is executing, it is not giving me any error, but it also doing nothing, right? So therefore it is just passing this loop, okay? So this is how we can create the loops, okay? Yeah, while loop, okay? Similarly, let us see the execution of for loop, okay? Yeah, so for loop first requires, right, a list or array or anything, okay? So I create a list first. So fruits is equal to, so I want to create a list of fruits that we used yesterday. So in the same way, I'm creating it, okay, today also. So banana, let's say, then apple, okay, next, okay, cherry, right, next, next thing that I want is, let's say, grapes, okay. Yeah, so I have 4 fruits in my list, okay. So this is the fruits. Now let's okay, write this statement like this, okay. Yeah, so for is a key man, right? I'll take a variable, any variable, okay, for a. So in is a keyword, right, that is used to check if the value is present in a particular thing or not, okay. So for a in fruits, okay, for a in fruits, just I want to print the value of a. So whatever the fruit name that I have, okay, so I'll print fruits, okay. Yeah, so that's it, right? Oh, sorry. Yeah, so print the value of a. So let us run this program. Let's see what the result will be, okay. Yeah, stop and rerun. Yeah, so you can see, right, first the a value of a is 0, so you are printing the right fruits of 0, okay. Fruits of 0 is banana, then right 1, which is apple, cherry, grapes, okay. So each of them will be printed in one iteration, okay. So in each iteration one value is printed, right, okay, like this. So for loop we cannot use it like while loop, okay. We have to use it, right, with arrays or lists or sets, tuples, etc. Okay, so that is the syntax and the working of the for loop. So in for loop also we can use the statements, break statement, continue statement, okay, also, right? Yeah. So this is about the looping statements in the Python, okay. So these are very simple ones, right? I think all of us are aware of this, okay. Yeah, any queries as of now? Any queries? Okay, so can I continue? Yeah. Okay, so next that I want to take up is the functions, okay. So in the morning session we have just seen how to write a function, so we'll discuss in detail about them, okay, here. Okay, so functions, okay. So a function, I think we all of know what is a function. Function is basically a user defined module, okay, which can do some kind of work, okay. So right, we can give the parameters to the function and make it work, right, a particular operation, okay, right. So yeah, so function is basically a block of code which will execute, okay, or which will run when it is called, right. So you have two things here. So firstly we have to create a function and then we have to call a function, okay. So how to create a function? So for creating a function, yeah, creation of the function, so we have a keyword called as def, right. So def is a keyword which is used for creating the function, def name of the function. Okay, and then you can have arguments here, or it can be empty as well. If the no arguments are passed, it will be empty. Okay, and then you have the colon. Okay, right, and then you have the body of the function, whatever you want to write. Okay, so you can write it here, right? This is how you can create, right? This is called as the creation of the function. Okay, now we have to use the function. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, now we have to use the function. So that means we have to call the function. So calling the function, calling the function. So for calling a function, right, we just give the name of the function. Okay, so you can just call a function by its name, right? If you say, okay, my the name of the function name with okay, list of the parameters. So here we call this as parameters. Okay, here in the definition we call them as arguments. Okay, so the parameters that you are passing should be same as that of the arguments. Okay, that means equal number of parameters should be given. Okay, so if there are two arguments in the function definition, you have to pass two values. Okay, if you pass more values or less values, then what will happen? Okay, if you pass, let's say, more number of values than the required number of arguments, okay, the only first values that are there first, let's say if the argument has 3 values, you have passed 5 values, the first 3 values will be taken, the other 2 will be discarded. And if you pass, let's say, only 1 value, then what will happen? It will assign the default values to the other arguments. Okay, so that is a flexibility in Python. Okay, but make sure that the number of arguments and number of parameters are same. Okay, that's the thing. Sometimes you don't know how many values it takes also. Okay, in that case you can just say default. Okay, by passing the default values also, you'll run and see what happens, and then we can later on assign the values. Okay. Yeah, so these are the things that we need to understand here. Okay, right. Now let us see how we can create and use the functions. Okay, in the Python. Okay, so for this, so first I'm defining a function. So def, okay, so I'm calling it as addition. So simple. Let's say we take a function called as calculator. So let's say we are calling this as calculator. Okay. So it takes 2 inputs. Okay, A comma B are the 2 inputs. Okay, right now. Yeah, just give me 1 second. Okay, so yeah, we are calling this like this. So yeah, right now so I want okay, or I am performing, let's say C is equal to A plus B. Okay, and D is equal to A minus B. Okay, and then next, okay, you have E is equal to E is equal to the value of E, which is which I'm calling it as E is equal to A into B. Okay, and next F is equal to, so I'm performing division, A by B, and then G is equal to A modulo division B, modulo division B. Okay, so yeah, so this is all what I have written. Next, what I want the value of right all the values that I want. Okay, so I want to print the results of addition, subtraction, everything. Okay, so let's say the addition result of addition is, okay, and you print, right, what is that you want to print? You want to print C. Okay, so in the same way we'll copy and paste all the others. Yeah, so result of addition, result of subtraction is, you want D here, right, and result of multiplication. So I'm just creating a simple calculator. Okay, so right, this is E. Okay, and then result of division is F. Okay, and result of modulo division is G. Okay, yes, so this is how, right, we have done. Okay, right, now what we do, we right, we have created our right function. Okay, so we have given the right values for it. Okay, now let's say, right, I want to call, okay, the function. So right, what I do, I have to give the name. So calculator of, okay, so let's say 10, 20. So these are the two numbers I'm passing to the right function. Okay, so let's see how it works. Yeah, so you could see the result of addition is 30, result of subtraction, result of multiplication, result of, so we can run it with, right, okay, as many number of values as possible, right? You can just run this, okay, and like this. Okay, so go on doing and executing this with the different values. You don't need to write again all these operations again and again. So we have created a simple calculator, right? Okay, it will result, right? You give two inputs to it, it will throw down all the results. Okay, so this is how it is, right, done. Okay, now let's say you don't want to print the values. Okay, you don't want to print the values, but instead you want just the value to be passed to the main function or to the main program from the function, and there we can print it. So let's say return. So this is where return command is used. So return, right, I want to return the values of C, D, E, F, G, right, things. Okay, now I'm getting out of the function. So I'm getting here out of the function, right? So I'll say calculator of, right, this, and I want to see the result of addition. Okay, so right, remaining things you can do it on itself. Addition result is, okay, right. So addition result is your addition result is in C. So you want the value of C to be printed. Okay, so this is it. Let's run this program again and let's see what it does. There's name C is not defined. Okay. You're returning this. Okay, let's just run this. Okay, let's run this first. Okay, so it is running. It is not giving us any error. Okay, yes, and the value has to be returned, right? So returned maybe this here it is. Okay, so you're returning it. Okay, so yes, let's print the value of C. Now let's see if we can print it. Okay, but it is still taking it as I'll tell you why this error is coming. Again, there is an error. C is not defined. Okay, in that case, what we can do, we can just say global C. C. Now we have defined a C value. Okay, right. Run this. So is not defined. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is throwing a small error here. So maybe simple mistake, but okay. We'll rectify that with the help of end to be added. No end is required, sir. Here you don't require any end here. Okay. You just need to return the result. Okay. Yeah, so there is something that is missing here. Okay, otherwise, okay, we'll do one thing. So print off. Yeah, let's see if this works. Okay, yes, so that's the way. Okay, so that's how yeah, so we don't need to write the result, so automatically the result is returned back. Okay, so if you print this directly, you can see the results. Okay, so D, then E, then F, then G. Okay, so we can now print everything. For this, let's run this code again. So we can see this is the the result for various operations which we are performing. Okay, so this is how we can write the result. Okay, otherwise you can store the value of this output in C. Okay, so let's say I have a new variable I is equal to, so I am storing the result in this calculator, and now I can print the value of I. So this is another way we can do it. Whichever the way is comfortable, we can just okay, so do it. So now I is treated as a list, so we get all the values of the result. Okay, so this is how we can use the functions. Okay, so the functions can be utilized in this way, right? And with functions also, with functions also we can have, with functions also we can have, if you don't have the body, you don't know what to be written here, we can use the pass statement. Okay, so pass statement is a statement which is used to avoid the errors. Okay, so this how it works. Okay, so this is about the functions, right? I hope everybody is clear with this, right? Okay, so till now, yeah, if you have any doubts or any queries in this, okay, you can chat, put it in the chat box. We'll see what we can do. Okay, right. So any queries? Okay, yeah, that brings us to the most important topic of today's session. So that is the object-oriented programming in Python. Okay, so OOPS, okay, as it is called, okay, object-oriented programming, in Python. Okay, so I think many of us are from the computers background, so I think everyone would have heard about what is object-oriented programming, right? What are objects, what are classes, right? So what is a thread, right? Inheritance, all these, I think many of us are aware of them. Okay, so I'm not going into the theory, right, of what is a class, what is an object, okay, what is object-oriented programming, all these things. Okay, so I am assuming that you're also aware of this. Okay, yeah, here what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you how we can create the classes. Okay, and how to use these classes to create the objects, okay, and how to use them in the programming, okay. So because that is what very is important for us, right? Yeah. So let's go ahead. Okay. Yeah. So we know that Python is also an object-oriented programming language. Okay. So Python, like Java, like many other things, it's also an object-oriented programming language. Sure, sir. How can we access list using while? Do we have any alternative to pass? There is no alternative to pass statement. Okay. As far as I remember, I think most of the times we use the pass statement only. Okay. And how can we access a list using while? Okay. List using while, that means you have to what I understood, what the question I understood is, so you have a list and you want to access the object in the list, okay. So is that possible? No, it is not possible with while statement. For loop is been exclusively designed for this, okay. So lists, arrays, right, tuples are all handled using this for loop statement, okay. So that's how it goes, right? Okay, I hope you have your doubt is clarified, okay, right. Yeah, so Python is also an object oriented programming language. So everything, right, almost, okay, whatever you write is an object, okay, right, and every object has right, what we call it as properties and methods, right. So methods that we can use right on the objects, okay. Yeah, a class. So basically, what is a class? A class is like an object constructor, okay. So it's like a blueprint in order to create an object, okay. So right, so first you create the blueprint or the format, okay, and based on that format you create the objects, okay. So the format or the blueprint that we create is called as the class, right, and you create the object of these classes, okay. So that's what we call it as the object oriented programming. So everything, right, nowadays all the programming languages are right, based on this concept of hoops, okay. So right, we can handle, right, objects easily whenever we are going for data manipulations. That's the reason everybody is going for object oriented programming, okay, right. Now, first of all, how to create classes. So as I said, again, I'm not going into the theory of object oriented programming. I think many of us are familiar. So I'm just giving you what are the how to create a class, what are the different options that we have, right, and how to use them, okay, in the Python, okay, and how to create objects in the Python. That's it, okay. So I'm limited to this particular thing, right, as of now, okay. Yeah. So how to create a class? Okay, creating a class in a creating class in Python. So we use the keyword class. There is a keyword called as class, right? And you give the name of the class. Okay. So name of the class followed by a colon. Okay. And then you have all the variables and methods. Variables and methods. Okay. That are required or that are associated with this class. So this is the simple syntax for creating a class. So class is a keyword, right? Okay, class is a keyword. You give the name of the class, right, and followed by variables or methods that are required or that are present inside the classes. Okay, right. Now, example, let's say I want to create a class of cars. Okay, so let's say I want to create a class of cars. Okay, so let's say class, okay, cars. So cars is the name of the class that I will give, okay. Then I give its attributes. So let's say I have, okay, so car has, right, windows. So there are 4 windows, right, doors, okay, there are 4 doors, and let's say the color, okay. So for this car the color is red, okay. So this is how you create a class, a simple class, right, okay. And we can use this right, class anywhere wherever we want to, right, use it. Okay, that means using this class, if I want to create an object, okay, so you write it as like this. So the general syntax for the object is object name is equal to class name. Okay, object name is equal to class name. So let's say I want to create a car1. So car1, right, is equal to, so whatever the class I'm using, cars dot, okay, cars of something. So we can create an object called as car1 with a class called as cars. Okay, so this is what it does. Okay, so here all the attributes and methods are fixed. Okay, your right, the values are fixed. Okay, windows is equal to 4, doors is equal to 4, right, color is equal to red. All these are fixed. Okay, we don't need to pass, or we don't need to specify anything here. Okay, so this is a specific right thing. Okay, but in case if you want to pass anything, okay, if you want to pass, right, okay, we don't want to give any values here inside the class. Okay, rather you want to pass the values during the creation of the object. Okay, so for that, okay, what we have is we have a function called as init. Okay, initialization function. So initialization function will give us, okay, will give the opportunity for initializing the variables, and then you can pass them later on when you are defining the object. Okay, so are you able to understand this? So here I have created a class that is of fixed type. Okay, so there are all the values are fixed, all the attributes are fixed. Okay, so that's the reason why you don't need to give anything. You just have created a car1 as a class. Okay, yeah. So let me explain this with a simple program. Okay, yeah. Let's do the coding here. Then we'll understand what's the thing. So I am writing the class. So class. So let's say cars. Okay. Yes. And then okay. Yeah. So now what I'm as I just told you, first I would want to I'll tell two examples. One example where all the attributes are fixed. Okay, all the attributes of the class are fixed. Okay, so let's say we have windows is equal to, okay, windows is equal to 4. Okay, right, then doors is equal to, right, okay, 4, let's say, right, and then color is equal to red, right. Yeah, so now I have created my class. Okay, so cars is a class, right, it is having 3 attributes: windows, doors, and right, color. Okay, and the values are fixed. Right, now let us create an object. Okay, so let's say an object, I want to create an object. So car1 is an object. Okay, car1 is equal to, right, so cars, I'll just write cars. Okay, so car1 is an object with the class belonging to the cars. Okay, right, so this will create my, right, okay, car1. Okay, if I run this code, right, it will not do anything. Okay, yeah, it just, right, exited with the code 0, doing nothing. Okay, let's say now I want to print, okay, print the number of number of windows in the car. So I don't need to, I have not defined anything, right. Okay, for the car1 I have not defined anything, but I just can use, right, okay, the attribute that is there in this here. So let's see, okay, like this. Okay, because I have created a blueprint, whatever the variables that are present in the blueprint or the class, they can be used with objects as well automatically, right. All the objects, all these attributes get applied to the object as well. Okay, so right, whenever we create the object, all these attributes will be now applied to the car1 also. Okay, right, so therefore when I print like this, so let's print all the attributes. Let's, yeah, so car.windows, car1.doors, and car1.colors. Now let's see what is the result of this particular, right, code. Yeah, so you could see, right, it is giving me, right, so the values of car 1, okay, it has 4 windows, it has 4 doors, and the color is red. Okay, so if you create a car 2 also, it will give the same values because all these values are fixed. Okay, right, so this is how you can create a class and you can create objects out of the class. Okay, so I hope this is understood, right, how to create a class and how to create objects out of the class. Okay, right, now this is of no use for us, right, so everything is fixed. Okay, but instead we want, right, okay, so we want to create objects which can change the values. Okay, so for that what we do is we have a function called as init function. Okay, we have a function called as init function. Okay, init function allows us to use in the class to create just or to initialize the attributes, and later the values can be passed during the execution time. Okay, so how to do that? So for that, okay, the syntax is, so let's say I'll write the code here first and then I'll go and execute it in the PyCharm. Okay, so first let's take the same example. So class of cars, okay, so colon, okay, so let's say now I use the initialization function. So def init, okay, so double underscore, remember 2 underscores are to be written. Okay, often this creates, okay, an error. Okay, right, so def init, the first argument should always be self. Okay, what is this self? This is very important, right? So this self refers to the current instance. Okay, so you're talking, right, right, the first right argument in this function should always be self. It may be anything. Okay, you have to write first self. Okay, why you have to write self? Because you have to point to the current instance. So this self refers to the current instance that you are using. Okay, yeah, so then I'll have 3 attributes. So one is windows, comma, doors, comma, color. Okay, so these are the 3 attributes that I am using in my definition, in my function. Okay, right, now what I do, I'll write self dot windows is equal to windows. Okay, then self dot doors is equal to doors. Okay, then self dot color is equal to color. Okay, so right, I'll write like this. Okay, self dot windows is equal to windows, self dot doors is equal to doors, self dot color is equal to color. Okay, so we have to write this self. Okay, self dot, we have to use this method called self to initialize the right attributes. Okay, right, now our class is created. Okay, now our class is created. Now this class can take 3 attributes, right, while the creation of the object. The 3 attributes are windows, doors, and color. Okay, we can give these values at the runtime. Okay, so let's say, right, okay, so I will create 3 objects. So let's say cars 1 is having, okay, cars off, so 4 windows, 4 doors, and the color is black. Okay, let's say I'll create cars 2, which is having cars off. Okay, so 2 windows, 2, okay, and let's say red color. So like this. Okay, we can create any objects, right? We can create the objects, right, with the required parameters. Okay, right, now we can change the parameters as required. Okay, earlier the 3 attributes windows, doors, and color were fixed, right? Now they can be changed. Now it is, right, we can create the objects with different attributes, different attribute values. Okay, but the number of attributes should be same. Okay, number of attributes should be same, right? So this is what we call as the right, this is how we can create the classes. So let's go and execute this code in the right PyCharm. Okay, yeah, so I'll take the same example. So you can use this braces, parenthesis, or you can even take them out also. You if not required, you can remove them as well. Okay, so here, right, so next thing is I want to create a function definition, okay, in double, right? So yeah, here it is already there, so I'll just click OK. Self comma, so it takes 3 arguments for me. What are the 3 arguments it takes? It takes Windows. The order is important, right? So it will always match, right, the order. Okay, so Windows, doors and colors. Okay, right, so this is the thing. And now we have, okay, self dot windows is equal to right, what is that we write? Windows. Okay, yes, just a second, there's an error. Okay, so it's not properly indented. Yeah, okay, sorry, it's an indentation problem, right? Basically it's an indentation problem. Okay, yeah. What is self? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Self is, right, a default argument in the init function, which says that the self, right, when you say self, it refers to the current instance. Okay, it refers to the current instance. Okay, so the self parameter is a reference to the current instance of the class. Okay, and it is used to access the variables, okay, that belongs to the class. Okay, so that's what I've been telling you, right? We have to use this self. Okay, it's a default parameter in the thing. Okay, next again, self dot, right, so what is that we have? Doors. Self dot doors is equal to doors. Okay, and then self dot, right, color is equal to color. Okay, yeah, so this is how we write. Okay, and we can remove the other lines of the code, not required. Yeah, okay, now see here, right, so I have this cars one. Okay, so now right, if I print this, right, I'll get nothing, I'll get error. So we can just run this, right? So there are errors. Okay, so there are undefined arguments, you don't have any values to them. Okay, so therefore, right, first we need to create the object. Whenever we are creating the object, we have to give the values. So let's say I give 4 comma red. Okay, right, now let's run this. Yeah, you can see, right, so it has created an object called as car1 dot windows, car1 dot doors is equal to 4 and red. So let's say if I copy this again and I can create another object. Okay, so let's say I want a car 2. Okay, let's say car Benz, right? So Benz has, let's say, only 2 doors and 2 windows. Okay, and we want a black color, right? Okay, so now let's run this. Yeah, so you have a car one, which is, sorry, it is taking the same value. Somewhere it has missed. Okay, so sorry, I'm printing only car one. That's the reason why it is giving me. Yeah, I've not changed here. Okay, right, now let's run this. Yeah, so now you can see, right, the first object has been created with 4 windows, 4 doors and red color. Second object is created with 2 windows, 2 doors and 2 colors and black color. Okay, so this is how right, you can create, right, the classes. Yeah, this is how we can create, right, classes, right, and objects from the in the Python. Okay, so this is the simple right concept related to the right classes and objects. Okay, so remember this for this syntax and this way of building the classes and objects, because we are going to exclusively use these things whenever we want to create right our web applications with the databases. Okay, right. So I hope all these concepts are clear, right? And you can also delete a class with the help of delete command, del. So let's say I want to okay, so here what I write, I'll delete car 1. Let's say car 1 is already not at all there, so delete car 2. Okay, so I've created it and I deleted it. Okay, right? And if I try to print out, I'll get error. Okay, let's run it. You'll get error because the car 2 has been deleted. You cannot use it any further. So in this way, we can delete the objects that are created with the help of delete command. Okay, now if you run it again, you will get, okay, so it has been deleted. So again, you have to create it. Okay, so that's the reason why okay, this is throwing errors. Okay, so that's what basically the object oriented concepts are. Okay, so classes and objects are created in this manner. Okay, nothing else. Okay, no complex terminology or nothing. Okay, so very simple, right? Yeah, any queries in whatever the concepts we discussed? Yeah, we have one simple topic left with respect to this. Okay, we'll cover that also. Yeah, so any queries? Okay, I see no queries, so I think we can go ahead. No, sir. Thank you. Yes, right. Now finally, okay. Right. Now finally, okay. Yeah. So one small topic that we need to cover in Python. So again, we'll come back to Python. This is not the end for it. Okay. So we need to acquire a few concepts, right, in order to go ahead. Okay. So those are the concepts that we are discussing here. Yeah. So the final topic that is to be studied or is to be dealt in the basic Python programming is the file handling. Okay, so how to handle files, that means how to read files, okay, how to write them, or how to create files. Okay, so text files or image files, right, anything. Okay, so yeah, right. So of course here what we are talking is, we are talking about the basic Python. Okay, so there are pandas, right? Pandas are there. Pandas is a library. There are panda data frames or data structures which are exclusively there for handling large amount of data. You can read from CSV, text, anything. Okay, that is there, right? But if without those, okay, if you want to just handle simple things in the Python without pandas, okay, so it is also possible. So there are certain file handling structures. Okay, so what are those file handling structures? Okay, yeah, let us discuss that. So first of all, if you want to open if you want to do something to a file in Python, so we need to use a function called as open. Okay, open is a function, right, that is used to open a file or anything, okay, a image or a text in a Python. Okay, so open is a command. Okay, so this open function takes two arguments. Okay, so first argument is the file name, the name of the file that you want to have, or the second, right, and the second argument is the mode argument. Okay, so mode of opening your file. Okay, so what is the mode of your file opening? Okay, so these are the two arguments that we need to specify. Okay, so first file name, it is general file name, whatever you want to right? Text or anything. Okay, so some example.txt, anything. Okay, we'll give the file name. Okay, then what about the mode? Okay, so when you go for the mode, right, mode can be of 4 types. Okay, so there is R mode. Okay, R, if I specify this as R, then it means read mode. Okay, so the file can be opened in 4 modes. The first mode is the read mode. Okay, so what is the read mode? So here a file is open for reading. Okay, so you are right, opening the file for reading the data, right, for the from the file. Okay, and if the file is not present, then it will throw an error. Okay, so you just read the file. Okay, so if you're opening the file in read mode, you're just reading the file. You can just take the contents from the file, but you cannot write anything, or you cannot store the values, or you cannot give the values to, right, the file. Okay, so that's what read mode is all about. Okay, right, then we have, okay, A mode, that is append mode. Okay, so the second mode that we have is append mode. Okay, so append mode is a mode in which, right, you can open a file for appending. Okay, that means for adding data. Okay, so the original data will not be lost. Okay, whatever the data that is present in the file, okay, it will be preserved, and you can add new data to it. Okay, so if you open in the append mode, okay, if the file does not exist, then it will create the new file. Okay, it will create a new file. Okay, so this is right thing. Okay, so if the file name, right, whatever the file name you are giving, if it is not there, if it is not opening, if it is not there, then what it simply does is it will create a file. Okay, it will create a file with that name. Okay, with that name, right? Okay, if it is there, then it will open that file. Okay, so this is what we call it as append mode, right? Then next we have the next mode we have is the write mode. Okay, so write mode, yeah, write mode. So in write mode, okay, so this is also same thing. Okay, so you open the file for writing. Okay, right, for writing, that means you can pass the data to the file, or you can read the data from the file. But the point is, so when you're opening the file in write mode, okay, the previous data will be lost. Okay, whatever the information that is there, it will be lost, right, and the file will be opened as an empty file. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so it will be open, right? Okay, if the file is not existing, right, it will create a new file. Okay, yeah, so if the file is there, it will open, right, it will open the file, okay, for writing, right, but the previous data will be lost, an empty file will be opened. Okay, and if the file is not there, it will create a new file. Okay, so this is the right mode, which is called as the write. Okay, then we have, right, the X mode. Okay, X mode, which is create mode. Okay, so this is actually for creating the new files. Okay, so it is used for creating new files. Okay, right, but if the file is already existing, right, okay, then it will throw an error. So there should not be any existing file with the same file name. Okay, so if you want to create new files, we use X command. Okay, so these are the 4 modes, right, of which you can open, or you can read, you can write, or you can create in the Python. Okay, so this is what right we have. Okay, so let us do this. Let us just see how we can do it. Okay, so yeah, okay, is this clear? Any issues in this? Yeah, okay, so yeah, first let us see it how we can do it. Okay, so for this, right, what I need to do is I'll go to the PyCharm. Before PyCharm, I because I want to read the file. Okay, so let us see how can we read it. So let's go to users. Okay, see drive users. So this is where I have my right projects. So PyCharm project. Okay, PyCharm projects. So under PyCharm projects, we are actually working on, right, what is the project name? So dice game, right, project. Okay, so that's what sorry, dice game is the project name. So let's go to that. So you can see dice game here. Yeah, so this is the thing, right? Now I will create a text file here. Okay, and I'll try to read the text file from my Python. Okay, so text document. Okay, so let's say this file name I'm giving, right, an example dot text. Okay, yeah, so example, so already by default it will save it as, sorry, example dot has come. Let's that out. Okay, right, and just open this. Okay, and write let's say hello all. Okay, so there is some text in it. Let's close this. Yes, you want to save it. Okay, right, now we will try to read this file. Okay, read this file in our right PyCharm. Okay, yeah, so let me delete all this. Yeah, now I want to read this. So how can I read it? Okay, so first of all, you can see that, right, already the file is in my present directory. Okay, so remember this point clearly. If the file is there in my directory, I can just give, right, I can just give the just simple name. Okay, if the file is not there in my directory, then I have to give the absolute path. Okay, yeah, so for this, right, so I'll say a is equal to, okay, open, a is any variable, so I'm giving a is equal to open, right? So sorry, what's happened? A is equal to open. So what is the file I want to open? I want to open example dot text. Okay, so this is what exactly it is here. So example dot text. Okay, comma read. Okay, so I just want to read the data from it. So I'll take this. Okay, right, next I want to print this. Okay, so let's say print off. Okay, so the variable I have is a. So okay, right, let's see what we will get from this. Okay, it is executed, but it's not showing us anything. Okay, because right, printing like this, okay, will not give the content. Okay, so we need to read the content first. Okay, so for that we have, what we have is, we have a method called as read method. So read of, okay, yeah, just that's it. Okay, nothing else to be given. So now let us right, read it. Let's try to run it. So you can see hello all, whatever the content that was there in the file is getting readed here. Okay, so this is how we can read. Okay, right, and the other commands, right, automatically. Okay, you can verify all the other commands. We can write it. Okay, so let's say if I want to, I put it in write mode. Okay, and write. Okay, so okay, now I will just right, try to write something into it. So okay, a dot write. Okay, so this is the method for writing the contents into the file, a dot write. Okay, so here what I write, I'll write the content that I want to write. Okay, so what is that I want? Let's say I want to write hi to all. Okay, so in place of hello all, now I'm writing hi to all. Okay, so that's what I want to do with it. Okay, so I'm in the right mode. Okay, yeah, let's do this. Okay, so I'll show you the difference. So let's first use the append mode. Okay, yeah, so let's run this. Okay, again, it has done nothing, right? But okay, it has done its operation, it has executed. So let's go to the example, right? So hello all and hi to all. Both of them are printed, right? Okay, so that means whatever the data you have written, hi to all, has been appended to hello all. Okay, so you could see clear, right? Yeah. Next, if I do the same thing, okay, same operation with write mode, then what happens? Then let's run this. Okay, right now also the operation is completed. Let's go to the file. Yeah, you could see hello all is getting replaced with hi to all. Okay, so this is what the difference is. Okay, when you open it in a append mode, right? Append mode means you will add, right? The previous data will be preserved, the new data will be added to it. Okay, whereas the write mode means, okay, the previous data will be lost and the new data will be added. Okay, so that is it regarding the files. Okay, so you can do this with any of things. Okay, so we can work on these files. You can take them and you can do all kinds of operations. Okay, right. So these are the basic Python requirements that are necessary, right, to go ahead in our programming. So I hope all of you have understood them. Okay, and you can build simple projects using all of this. Okay, so right, tomorrow in the tomorrow session, okay, so I'm stopping the today's session, and tomorrow session, in the morning session, I will show you how we can further add, right, different types of web applications in the website that we have created in the morning. Okay, so tomorrow we will be discussing how to add form feeds, okay, tables, data, etc. Okay, all of that, right? And in this afternoon session, we will see some important no files will not be saved already. Whatever, these are text files, madam, don't worry, it is a very small, so we don't require any other softwares. Okay, so I'm going to work only with this PyChart. Okay, nothing, no new extra installation will be done. Okay, so yeah, we'll be doing only with this. Okay, right, so tomorrow we'll just try to build, okay, the next features in the web application development, and in the afternoon session we'll discuss the important libraries of the Python that are required for the different data handling, etc., etc. Okay, so that's the schedule for tomorrow. Okay, so I hope you're following this. If you have any query, you can always come back to me. Okay, so that's it from my side for today's session. Thank you very much for joining. Okay, thank you for your patience listening. Right, and if you have any queries, you can ask. Otherwise, I'll close the session. Okay, so thank you so much, sir. Can I leave? Yeah, thank you all. All have been very supportive, right? Thank you so much for your patience listening.
Jahir sir, completed.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Completed. Sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Tomorrow we'll meet at 10:30, sir.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you.
Dear participants, please fill the feedback link. Within 2 minutes, I will post in the chat box. Thank you. Dear participants, please fill the feedback link. It will be enabled up to 4 o'clock. Thank you all.